Fall is here, guys, and as we come out and shop at TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshalls, Target, and places like that, you'll always notice they'll have these cute little pumpkins, but sometimes they can be a little bit too high. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make our very own pumpkins. I'm going to share with you guys where to buy them from, and we're going to have a good time. Jar right here, as you can see, is pretty wide, and the top is a little bit small like around here, but it does have wide shoulders just like the Apothecary jar. If you look at the Apothecary jar, a lot of people have a tough time wicking this, but I've perfected this jar. I got this jar down to a science. I love this jar. It has a very good hot throw, and I did see somebody using 3 wicks on it recently, and it's definitely not a 3-wick vessel. So, you know, I don't say nothing. I just look and keep scrolling. But anyway, this particular jar, you're going to use 3 wicks in, okay? And whenever you're using 3 wicks, remember, you have to cut the diameter in half. So for these particular jars, I'm going to be using 3 wicks, but I'm going to use small wicks, okay? Very small wicks. And always test 2 sizes. Well, that's what I do. I normally go off of you know, the wick guide, and I test 2 different sizes, and normally one of those sizes will work. It never fails me. And most people that come to wick training, because I do have wick training classes on some Saturdays. I used to do it every Saturday faithfully, but I don't do it every Saturday no more. I do it like once a month. So, but if you want to do it, you know, keep your eyes open, because it is once a month, or you could do it through a pre-recorded video. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some wicks inside this jar, and I'm not using like a wick stabilizer or anything like that. I really don't need it. What I discovered is sometimes you can let the wax solidify just a little bit, and you can pull those wicks into place, and then hit it with the heat gun just a little bit on the top, and it will straighten out those drag lines that you put by doing it that way. I don't do the wick stabilizer because it's just too much time, especially when you're doing like 20-30 candles at a time. That's just way too much, when you could just go through, pull them up, hit it with the heat gun, go through, pull them, so it's just, you know, a quicker way of doing it. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and wick this particular vessel for you guys. Hey guys, so I do have some bourbon butterscotch fragrance that we're going to be using from the Flaming Candle. I'm going to be using that. It does have like a fall smell to it, and I don't know, I like it. It does smell like kind of like let me see, it gives me like a hint of pumpkin. Like, it might not be no pumpkin in it, but it does give me like a hint of pumpkin. So, and it smells like old school butterscotch candy, so it's more like a fall fragrance to me. So I'm gonna be using this because I can take the smell. It smells good. Anything pumpkin I just really don't like. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour my wax, and then we'll sit around and wait for it to solidify. Okay guys, so it's not fully done solidifying, but it's in a good place where we can move it around, and there's no liquid, like, you know, just kind of moving around on the candle. Smooth tops, as we usually do in my classes and stuff like that. We don't do holes and stuff like that. I'm gonna go ahead and straighten these wicks out. Like I told you guys, don't do it when it's fully solidified, because it would be much harder to do then. But like right now is the perfect time where you can move it around and it will stay in place. Okay, so I'm just going to move it around, and just making sure my wicks are centered correctly and it's not too close to the edges of the jar. So this is perfect. This is 3 wicks, so I'm just going to leave it right there. Okay, and I'm going to let it fully solidify. And you see guys that I twisted these. The reason why I twisted them is because when I come back to hit it with the heat gun, the only thing I do is just hit it with a quick little zzz, and that's it. You know, if I would have had them just laying all over, then I would have just had to like drag them all over the jar, and I would have had the heat gun the whole top, and that's what I don't like to do. A lot of people use heat gun every single time they make candles. I don't recommend that, because it does affect your hot throw, because remember, you are scorching the heck out of that wax. And if anybody want to come and dispute that in the comments, that's on you. You know, 1 + 1 = 2 is common sense. Okay, so if we got heat temperatures and we don't even know what the average temperature is of the heat gun all the time, most people don't even look it up. But if you scorching that candle on the top and you taking that candle and you scorching it and the top of that candle 230 degrees or something like that, you know, you're burning off that fragrance, period. Okay, I'm not up for dispute. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move these wicks into place, and I'm gonna untwist this one right here. I'm carefully doing it because I don't want to have too many drag lines on top of my candle, because like I told y'all with the heat gun. All right, so I'm gonna move these into place. I want to move them. This one right here, that's good. This one right here, that's good. And I want that one to be right there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it around and see if that's what I want it to be. I can move this one just a little bit right here to the right there. That's perfect. Okay, and what you can do as well, you can trim the wicks, so it would make it much easier if you trim them. Okay, and I'm gonna have to move those again because I should have trimmed them first, but that's fine. Okay, so just kind of look at it and say, okay, I want these to be a little bit more space to the left, space to the right. Okay, and I like this one. That one is perfect. We're gonna leave that like that. Or if you want to bring it down just a little bit, you could do that. You know, however you look at your wicks and say, hey, I think this position is a little bit better, you know, you can do it that way. But just making sure it's not close to the edge where it would, you know, break the glass. And remember, they do got to go down. So they're going to burn downwards, and it's going to be one of these jars with the wide shoulders. So it's going to be like a whole lot of heat inside of it. So you just want to make sure that it's spaced enough, but not too much. Okay. All right. So let's move that over there. I'm going to look over these one more time just because I had messed it up when I was trimming it. And that's good. That's perfect. I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let it fully solidify, and then I'm gonna come back with the heat gun and fix my tops, and because I could look at it and still see a little bit of liquid underneath the surface of the wick. Okay, and then we're gonna put our tops on and we're gonna let it cure for about, you know, I'm using 6006, so mine will cure probably about 48 hours. If you're using 464s, yours will cure probably about I would say 2 weeks. We would give it 2 weeks to cure. Okay, so we're gonna let it cure, and you'll see the final pictures. Well, you see, we are finished with our candles. They are nice and beautiful, smooth, and definitely strong. I love this fragrance. So I'm going to go ahead and trim my wicks and clean up my wicks and put my tops on. And I'm going to take some photos, and I just want to thank you guys for joining in. Make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe. See you back again for the next video.